thing that the bare minimum, let's go with the, so go ahead and open up an elevated PowerShell window, please.
I think I do not have access on Zartest. Anuraj, do you have it?
For the PowerShell, no, Shyam. Can you try to open it once? Because it's not allowing me for the admin.
So I think we will need a global admin for that one.
Yes, we will. It's a claims mapping policy.
So, I think none of us have that access. I'm just checking with my colleague if she can join. She has the access. Just give me a
Okay. Not a problem.
I'm checking right now for mine, Shiva. Just give me a second. And we are checking in Zartest, right?
The values without the variables. If we wouldn't mind running those just testing everything at its simplistic form. Well, actually,
And so you want me to share my screen then so we can follow along on the PowerShell scripts?
yeah, oh yeah, please.
Let's see what we got going on here.
Have you been Sasha?
Sure.
Yeah, she was on that other meeting with me. That's why we're both late coming into this one. Okay, we wanted to open up the script for policies. And we're doing this in the testing tenant, right? Our Zartest tenant?
Zartest, please.
Yep. All right. And let me connect in. If Carlos could fix this when I run PowerShell, would have my list of accounts. That would be appreciated. some screens keep the history and some don't. It's kind of interesting how that works. And by
Yeah.
interesting, I mean frustrating. All right, in the Ztest edit. And do we want to see what's currently assigned?
Yeah, we can.
Or do you want to create a new policy? What's the next step?
I was hoping to create this new policy that popped here in this chat room, or chat window. And then we'll apply that to just the login.viva vault service principal.
So, take all that. So, claims mapping policy, on-premises SAM account name. Okay, just run that one command.
Yes, and then we'll run the add Azure AD service principal policy next.
So when I create this, is this going to return a object ID?
Yes, and
Or I'm going to have to record that, right? So
Yeah.
we'll execute that. And for my notes, we're going to go in here. This creates policy. Right there. All right. And then we're going to add.
we can. Excuse me. Sorry. We should get. Let's do the get Azure AD get dash Azure AD service principal. That way we can find out the service principal ID. Or the object, the object ID of the service principal.
Yep. And new policy, we don't care.
So it might be this one.
Get the object right here. And you want the object ID.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to add the policy.
So the object ID goes there with that, yeah.
Replace this one.
Correct. You nailed it. Don't let me slow you down, John.
And then the reference object IDs, that's the policy ID, which is the one that we just created.
Yes, sir.
Ready?
What do we got here? Request contains property changes that will result in property violations. Request with correct values. Do we already have a claims mapping policy?
Yeah, a second. Get my template here so I make sure I didn't do anything wrong. This is the Is this the one that you just had me create, or is this the original one? 741 is must have already been added to it.
All right.
Yeah,
let me look at that.
7.4
That might-
F1. So do you want me to remove the existing policy and add in the new one?
Now it does look like it's almost identical, but just to test, if we could remove the original and replace it with the new one we just created.
Remove the existing policy from login. So do I have both of these IDs? Is there an SP logon? Yep. And POL login. Yep. So we removed them. Now if I get the policy, this should be blank. All right. There is no policy. Now I'm going to go back and add in the one we just created.
Looks good. Looks good. There we are. That's what I was hoping to say.
Now I should be able to come down here and we're going to get the policy one more time. Right here. And now if we look at that policy, dot definition. Yeah, you don't have the nice carriage returns in yours. So claims policy version is 1, claim set is true. Source is user, IDs on premises, SAM account name.
Yeah, it looks identical.
Yep. So it's identical unless you've got an additional earn or something, but otherwise everything else looks the same.
All right. just for testing. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Okay.
And we're going to test the token now because I understand there's not an implementation on the Viva side for this tenant. So what we can do is we'll take this URL I posted in the chat and we're going to sub in some values that we captured earlier. And we'll be able to find out if we're getting that SAM account name in the token. Now, my tenant, I was able to, and this was, we just went step by step through all the things that I've fumbled my way through.
Okay.
But we should be able to, if you copy this, so there's going to be tenant ID right after the login at Microsoft.com. We'll need to replace the client ID and the scope. Now, these are values that I asked to be captured. I think Shreyank captured them for us. Maybe you can post them in chat.
Yeah, I can do that.
And does it matter what browser I use?
I don't think so. I was using Edge, but I'm pretty sure it'll be the same with Chrome if you prefer Chrome.
Let's see, close that. That. And let me paste that in a notepad to make sure I know what I'm typing in.
Now, when we log in, though, we'll need to use an on-premise account name or an account that exists on-premise to get the same account name.
Yep.
I knew that, but sometimes we get hasty and jump to And we need the scope, too.
Okay, let me do that as well.
So the client ID you said we had to change, that's the tenant ID?
Well, we'll use the client ID. Right there is our application client ID. Where it says tenant ID, we're actually going to have to put in the tenant ID.
Ah, tenant ID.
And then after scope equals, we'll take out the open ID and plus profile and add in this URL.
Okay, here, see, here it is in the, so application client ID. That's this one?
Yes, sir.
So copy that. Goes from here. All right, there's the client ID.
Nice.
And I've got tenant ID. And you said that was this one.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, we'll be able to erase out the OpenID plus profile, but we'll want to keep that other ampersand nonce on the end there.
And that's that whole URL you sent, Shriyank, the HTTPS test stuff. That's the scope.
That's our scope, yes.
Yeah.
OpenID plus profile I delete.
Mm-hmm.
And paste in that. Okay. Is that the only ones that had to be substituted?
That looks good. That looks good. I don't see any issues there. We should be able to run that and log in. I would try an in-private browser just in case you have any active sessions with any accounts.
And I need to use my Zotest personal account. Oh, I should have had the filter running so we could actually see something.
You know, that's a really good point.
I should have passed this over to Shriyank to run. You probably had everything all set up. Right, Shriyank?
Yep, yes, John.
That should be running in the background. It's logging in with my production ID. I don't want to log in there.
No, I think we need to redirect. So we can cancel this. Let's try. Here, let's add this on the end. Yeah. In my tenant, I didn't have the actual real live Viva Vault, so I didn't have to do a redirect. So right after the 8910, tack on the ampersand redirect URI. And we might actually need to add that in portal.azure in the app reg, just temporarily for this token testing.
I want to do that first then.
We can.
They're filling up. Hang on a second.
Oh no, I didn't have to add it to mine.
But again, you don't have the Viva Vault proper either, right?
Right.
So I can run it or I can edit. What do you want?
Let's try to run it, just see. I mean, it'll tell us if, I'd rather run it and have that fail than make an unnecessary change.
Okay. And so I got my tenant ID. Yep, that's the one that we modified. Gotta do this in the right order. Alright. Having trouble signing you in. The reply URL specified in the request does not match the reply URL in the application.
Okay, so then we do have to make the change. Which application is that? Is that your vault? Is that the file manager?
098.
Because I got JWT in my file manager. So that might be where we need to add that.
All right, that's my policy. So the object for login is SP login. Let's try that one. That's DE, so it's not that. App ID 098, right?
Yeah, I see it there. Login. It's a login. All right. So we'll go to your Azure portal.
Yep, so it was the login one. Okay. And jump back to here. We were in
App Reg.
login.
And go to the authentication blade. And we're going to add a URI underneath the login Viva Vault right there. And it's just going to be https://jwt.ms. And we can save that up top.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right, let's try our URL one more time.
So I'm going to stop Fiddler, clear the logs, capture traffic.
I don't know which account we got, but let's see. On-premise SAM account name.
So my personal account, there it is. You got it to work.
Woo!
So what'd you do different?
So I think when we did the verified domain information last time, we separated it with a dot instead of a slash and things like that incorrect last time. I just had to pound out through the small minor errors in my own tenant and to get through it, but I think we're at a good working position now.
Does case matter? I guess that may be a question for Mark. We'll have to determine if
uppercase is, I think, is the way to go.
Good, because that's the way mine. Well,
Yeah.
so test doesn't mean much, but
Yeah, uppercase is what we have in Vault.
so if that is successful, Mark should be able to update Vault File Manager, and instead of using UPN as the key, use on-premises SAM account name, and then when I try to log in, it should be successful, right? That's what we're saying?
I mean, there's a lot of shoulds in there, but yes. We all know how that goes. That's all I'm saying.
That's the only thing I need to update, John, is just the claim.
Well, I think we made an adjustment to the scope. We might need to have that reflected on your end. I'm not entirely sure how it works, how the application set up or implemented, but this might need to be matched on your end.
Now, what was the scope? I don't remember the scope appearing in. See, I thought I was just passing the JWT token back to the application, and right now the application was looking at UPN, which it doesn't match JJ Mail. So if the application looks for on-premises sound account name, which is now matching JJ Mail, which should match up. And this is Sandbox. I think you got to update, Mark.
Right. Yeah. So do you want me to share my screen just to make sure we just go through it?
Yeah, in case anything else pops out at us.
Yeah. So I updated to on-premise SAM account name for the claim. And then I guess if these are still the same, then I think we should be fine.
Oh yeah.
Metadata didn't change. The URL should not have changed.
Should we switch this to Azure AD? They had made an update this past release to break out ADFS and Azure, two separate things.
Probably would be wise. Seems like it.
I don't know. Because this is federated, right? We're we're in a federated scenario, if I remember correctly.
Yes, but we're federating it to Azure AD. We're not federating it to our on-premises ADFS.
Ah. So then, yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might want to go Azure AD. Well, this is where we, this is our sandbox, right? This is where we find those types of things out.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I would try Azure AD first, and then if it doesn't work, we can switch it back. But I think that's where I would try it.
Okay. Everything else looks good. This didn't update, right? The client ID.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I got the Vault File Manager application right here, so let's give it a whirl.
Do you have a Zytest account though?
I'm not sure.
Let's see what pops up.
I do, to be honest.
Yeah, let me give it a try and see if anything works for me. Shriak, you want to give it a try as well? I think you've got an account, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, you want to type in. You want to make sure you add that SBX after.
Authentication failed for me.
I have a quick question. So it doesn't ask me, to choose an account before I use that prompt. So
Are you still logged in? You may have to log out of Vault File Manager.
okay.
Did you log in once already today? Do you remember?
No, I did not log in today.
Think we would, I don't think that would cause this type of issue, but we can, we're done with it. That's just for testing the token. We can add it back in there if we want to make some adjustments and test them later. And that was just a quick way, instead of going through Postman and doing everything, that was just a quick and easy way to get the token returned.
Oh, okay. That looks okay. I get the credentials. Next one, result code 3, SSO delayed, direct SSO attempt failed. That's funny. This one shows my Zoetis account, not my Ztest account. Let me make sure I have Chrome closed in case that's got anything it's pulling in. Mark, is anything showing up in the troubleshooter?
Take a look real quick.
Will you show me line 35 there? Can you, on the bottom, the response, hit the headers?
Nothing in the troubleshooter, John.
It does say Zoetis up top, though, in the request.
Where'd you see the... Oh, there it is.
Let me pull up, see if I can't find those.
Yeah, it's funny that yours gave us the Java Web Token. Someone wrote something in the meantime, so now it's not returning it back to the application.
Well, where are we at? So I have a couple of fails from when we were trying the JSON web token, and then the success, and then nothing ever since. 1709. So what was that? 1109. 1209 for you.
I guess we have Mark share again, and I guess we look and make sure it's actually routing it to the Ztest tenant, not the Zoetis tenant.
Yeah.
I guess we look at the metadata. I think is probably the we should be able to open up our metadata information. There should be some details in there that'll make us confirm that. So the token endpoint, the first one, so login.microsoftonline.com 97, that was the right tenant, right? 97E1?
97E1.
Yep, BD48. Yep, so that's what I had in that test URL that you gave me.
Yeah, that's our test. Yep.
So that's gonna be the correct tenant. So that part should be fine.
Is there anything in here that mentions anything about the scope or user impersonation? OpenID profile email.
Just scroll back. Yeah, hang on a second there, Mark. Scope supported. What scope did we use?
User impersonation.
And I see they show OpenID profile, email, and offline access.
That might be what they need permission for, and the user impersonation's on our end. Let me see.
Can we regenerate the metadata? I wonder if that's changed any with the way we've got it configured now. If we could have Mark re-import that.
Hold on, I gotta fiddle with my headset here. Sorry.
But you're investigating something, right, Carlos? Or did you want us to re-import the metadata?
Yeah, let's re-import the metadata. Sorry, I was saying yes, but I got a warning on my screen that the mic went out or something.
Ah, okay. And I can't remember if we used the... I thought we used the URL. What if you select the second option? Provide authorization serve a metadata URL? Mark?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's.
I was blank. I thought we would have sent that to you last time. Hang on a second.